What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that tiege pack. Tiege makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Tiege Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Tiege Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Tiege Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Tiege Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Tiege pack. Feel the Tiege, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Do we not put on the greatest shows on the face of the earth? I think that we do. I absolutely believe that we are putting on an epic amount of content, and nobody is messing with us at all. First and foremost, make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Secondly, I need you guys to make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications again. But also, on top of that, let me invite y'all to be able to join that Tiege Henley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We appreciate you, Tiege, for continuing to rock out with us. You are an absolutely, positively epic partner, and that we are very, very thankful to continue to rock with y'all. We got a new Tiege link that is down in the description, and so we invite you guys to join the Tiege family by buying your friend, your significant other, and more importantly, make sure you buy it for yourself to ensure that you are getting that Tiege pack. Next, just getting the housekeeping out of the way really quickly. Patreon members, today is the best. Let me say that again. By far, the best day for you to join the Bag Chasers is today. I told y'all not to do it yesterday so that y'all can do it today. I told y'all not to do it yesterday so that you can join the Bag Chasers today. If you are not a Patreon member, I would invite you to become one. Make sure you join the Bag Chasers. Join the Patreon. The link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. And you will not regret it. It is the greatest group of people on this earth. I do have an upcoming live stream. I wanted to wait until Rita got back into I wanted to make sure Rita got back into town so that she can actually participate on the live stream with me so that I can ensure that you guys are getting the most value for your buck, because I want to go over what it is that we are doing and what our current cost is for building building a rental property. We have never built a rental property before. I think that it is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Costs are exactly as we expect them to be. And so we want to go over that with you guys, and we want to break that down. But in order for us to do so, we got to make sure that we have you in attendance. So if you're not a part of the Patreon, today, the first of the month, is the best day for you guys to be able to tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It is going to be an epic live stream, and we thank you guys for continuing to rock with us. Now, with that out of the way, let me give a shout out to Q. I seen in the chat yesterday for the channel, and if you guys are not familiar with what I'm talking about right now, we're going to go over it. I'm going to do a little small review for you guys, just for the sake of conversation. But if you're not familiar with what's going on, we did a live stream, and we do a live stream every Monday night. Q is trying to convince me to move the live stream to a different day of the week. I keep telling her, no, 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 no. I love Monday nights, and it's absolutely awesome, right? But a lot of people, I was seeing them in the chat yesterday, and I see them in the comments sometimes, and they keep saying, Anton, dope live stream, all of this stuff or whatever. You've outdone yourself. And I disagree with them. I disagree with them wholeheartedly. And the reason why I disagree with them is because what they don't understand, and I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly as well as acknowledging the Cash Apps, what they don't understand is that it's not me. All I do is show up, talk, and then support my people and try to put them in the best position possible to be able to do what it is that they do. It's Q. Everything that you see being put together, the numbers, the producing, the gathering together of the different personalities, the awesomeness, is Q. It is all her. It is 100% her. Absolutely. I am literally just in a supportive role on that show. Everything that you see happening that is dope. And a lot of, not only on Monday night, but in a lot of other capacities that you guys don't even realize that she contributes, is Q. Shout out to the super chats. I'm going to read those shortly. It's 100% her. Absolutely. She deserves all of the credit. And so I want y'all to realize that, yeah, I may be the face of it, but she is absolutely an invaluable asset to me. She is my backbone. She is my heart. That is my little sister. And in my eyes, she can do no wrong, right? In my eyes, she can do no wrong because the value, and I keep telling y'all this, the value that she adds to me is incredible. It cannot be measured. It cannot be measured. It cannot be measured in money. It cannot be measured in appreciation. And the one thing that you'll find from me is that I do three things when it comes to the people that I rock with. I do three things. The first thing that I do is I try to make sure that you are well taken care of from a financial perspective because that is only right. You will never find somebody that is rocking with me that will ever complain about money. Because if I get it, you get it. As a matter of fact, Q keeps trying to tell me, why you keep giving me this? Why you keep giving me that? Why you buying me this? Why you sending me that? Because I got to take care of the people that take care of me. You know what I'm saying? That's A. B, I am always going to acknowledge and recognize the people that is around me that are doing great things. I will always give credit where credit is due. I never want to ever be recognized for something that I'm not doing. I know that my greatness comes from the people that surround me. I know that it's the people that's showing up every single day on the Millionaire Morning Show that make me who it is that I am on this content creation shit. I know that it's the Qs, it's the Ritas, and it's so many other people that's rocking with me around me. Mostly women that add the most value into my life. And so I have to make sure that I acknowledge them on a regular basis. Let me give an acknowledgement to everybody. Q, Quentin, Logic, the people that show up on the panel, the people that do the things that they do. I love y'all. I genuinely appreciate y'all, and I love y'all. All of the things that you see great happening on what it is that we doing as a unit can be 100% attributed to the people that is around me, and Q deserves her flowers. And the third thing that I want to emphasize to you guys today is the thing similar that I say on the panels, that I say on Monday nights, that I tell y'all on a regular basis when you see me communicate, is that you need to be able to remove yourself. And this is what really makes me a part of the 1%. It has nothing to do with the amount of money that I make. The money is a residual effect of what it is that I do. And we're going to get into it very shortly, but I just want to highlight this thing. The money is a residual that comes along with all of the things that we do. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything will be added unto you. When we talk about the possibility of people being friends, right? Men and women, and we know that humans are fallible. Like they find themselves in situations that they should not be in through temptation, but I am a part of the 1%. And the 1% is the people that are able to consciously remove themselves from that perspective in order to truly see the value in people. And it don't, logic, I'm going to give you your flowers. Give me a second. Let me cook. It's the people that's able to remove themselves from what a regular normal person would normally do in order to truly get the best out of people. So when me and Q say it's nothing, we done been in rooms together, just me and her, and all we do is try to figure out how the fuck we can make some more money or cook up or do some more successful stuff, or she trying to kick my ass and talk about, Anton, you work too much, or I'm kicking her ass and saying, Q, you need to be more focused and stop vacationing and do whatever it is that you need to do. The point is that me not looking at her, can we be candid? This is the Millionaire Morning Show. We don't mince our words. Can we be absolutely candid? I'm going to use her as an example because that's the most visible person that y'all have. But let me say this. Everybody around me is gorgeous and beautiful, right? I like good spirits. I like sweet smelling people. I like gorgeous women. I think that they are the most beautiful and deadly creatures that God has ever created on this earth. But let me say this, right? My ability from the very beginning and being able to see Q for more than what she looks like, right? To be able to source the good out of her beyond her ass and her titties and her pussy and all of that has allowed me to really be able to leverage what's great about her in order for us both to be able to benefit. The minute that you stop just looking at women as a piece of pussy, and this is a message for the fellas, and listen, I'm not trying to police what it is that you doing and what you fucking. What I'm trying to tell you is that your greatness is largely going to come from your mindset. The mindset is then what enables you to be able to translate it into real actions on a regular basis. Let's get candid here. The reason why most people cannot get the most out of life is because they cannot see anything other than what is right in front of them and what it is that they can get out of that from a carnal perspective, right? Let me tell you what it is when I see Q. I see somebody that's smart as fuck, that works hard as fuck, that has an ability to be able to network and communicate, that listens, that is submissive, that pays attention, that moves accordingly, a little bit stubborn, right? Sometimes I gotta push her a little bit harder and she'll be like, no, I'm not doing it, but that's cool. I'm cool with that. And then all of the looks, right? I don't see it the same way that y'all see it. When I see her and she all be beautiful and gorgeous, she be smelling good, I be thinking to myself, oh, I can use that because there's other people that's not fucking paying attention to how smart she is. And so it's easier for us to be able to sell them on what it is that they need to come into. And when they get here, they're going to be like, oh, fuck, I get it. But to be able to attract them in just from them being able to easily fall for the fact that she is gorgeous or beautiful is an asset to me. Why would I limit myself to just looking at somebody based off of their looks instead of leveraging all of the other things that come along with it? It's about the fucking bag. I know dudes that will fucking trade in. I know dudes that will trade in a bag. They will trade in their whole career and crash the fuck out for some pussy. You know how easy it is? Let me bring it back to the streets. Maybe you'll understand it from this perspective. You know how easy it is to get a dude set up because he can't see past whatever it is that a woman look like? Do you know how easy it is to get a man set up because he can't see past what a woman looks like. He will ignore every single thing that he's supposed to be paying attention to. His entire life experiences will go out the window just because a beautiful woman walk up to him, or she having a conversation. He won't even ignore the idea that he's not even really used to getting women walking up to him. And he will think that she really give a fuck about him. So when you start paying attention to it from that perspective, then you start having a conversation from another perspective. If you want to look at it from a business mindset and say, okay, wait a minute. If humans are that easily distracted, then how can we leverage this in order to get more money? Fuck the sex, fuck the pussy. Listen, if you know, you can get pussy anytime. Why you gotta be with that one? Why you gotta be? I've never believed in my life in mixing business with. If you work with somebody, I don't think that you should ever start to cross paths and mixing up the business side with the co-working relationship. Why would you do that? Why would you fuck up the money? Why would you fuck up the relationship? Why would you fuck up anything that y'all got put together? All because you can't control yourself and you can't put yourself in the right mindset to be able to continue to get that bag. You will fumble your family. You will fumble your bag. You will fumble anything. And pussy is readily available every single day. You could just go outside and it's just right there waiting for you. But you so busy distracted by the girl that come into your job every day that you can't even focus on your performance review when you on a motherfucking PIP. What is wrong with these people? And then they think that I'm crazy because I'm so easily focused. And when you not focused, I'm going to go ahead and pick up that bag right next to you. You see a beautiful woman come in, and I'm looking at you, looking at her, and then I just be like, okay, well, let me just pick up everything off of his desk and make sure. And by the time he realizing and he come back down, I'm out the door, and I got all of the money. By the time he realized that he getting out of that trance, he didn't know that I sent that woman in there to walk past him and then stop, bend over at the copy machine. Meanwhile, I'm taking all of the money off of his fucking desk, and then I could just walk away. I ain't even got to sneak. I know he's so easily distracted by some ass that I ain't even got to sneak. If you can truly remove yourself, and how it is that you would normally operate and start looking at every single thing you do from a business perspective, you will win at life. That is what wealth is. Wealth is easily being able to translate how it is that you see things from a business perspective in the real life, everyday scenarios, and you will win. And you will win not even because you're doing anything awesome, but you're just doing the thing that everybody else is not doing in order to be able to secure the bag. All you got to do is not fuck it up. That's it. And you won. It's that easy. It's that easy. It's funny. I'm looking at Jasmine, right? I'm looking at Jasmine in the chat. I am Jasmine. Now, Jasmine is built like a motherfucking Coca-Cola bottle, right? Jasmine is built like a Coca-Cola bottle. I have known Jasmine since I first started fucking, if we just want to be for real. Before we get into the show, let's have a real conversation. I have known Jasmine since I first started fucking when I was a young bull. Jasmine eventually grew up and married my brother. I knew her first. Jasmine has always been cute and shaped like a motherfucking Coca-Cola bottle. When me and Jasmine first started hanging out, Jasmine and me and her, we would spend the night and hang out together. I was over her crib before her parents and my parents even really got cool. She will tell you. She has known me since I was fucking 11 years old. Me and her was over her crib and hanging out, just me and her chilling, spending the night together, trying to figure it out. You know what I looked at Jasmine, I said, damn, fuck what you talking about. I can fuck every last one of your friends through you. I could fuck all of your friends through. Ask her about her friends. Her friends. I ain't got to talk about it. Why fuck with Jasmine? And I'm like, yo, she's smart. She got it or whatever and all of this. She the leader of all of them girls, them little hoes over there, them little hussies, them little rats over there. That's my dog. And she was like, yo, Anton, I want to introduce you to Stacy and Monique. And I was like, what up, though? It's 100% facts. Listen, I'm not going to tell you nothing just based off of what it is that I think. I'm not telling you no theory. I'm telling you that there's people in the chat right now that know me in real life, and they'll tell you what really happened. Why settle for one when you can catch them all like Pokemon? Now, that's the young, ignorant me. I was smart enough to be able to realize that why would I fuck up this relationship? And I don't even see her like that. I kind of see her like my little sister, and I had just met her. But her friends, those was all the ones for the streets. So let me figure out what the fuck I can do with them. This is real fucking life. Listen, I'm telling you the truth, and whether you like it or not, it's real. Now, when I grew up and I matured enough, obviously, from my adolescent and teenage years, I leveraged the same mindset but instead, I start looking at it from a business perspective. Now, when I start realizing, you know what? I got the mindset. I'm focused. I'm not easily distracted by no hoes or no pussy. Now I'm going to leverage this and start using this from a business perspective. Why would I look at her like that when I can put her in a position of power and we can get each other and get some money together? To this day, me and Jazz, I have known Jazz for over 30 fucking years, and we still dogs. That is my dog. I can call Jazz tonight. I have leveraged Jasmine in so many fucking ways to make so much money and to be able to. Jasmine will tell you, I have made so much money from Jasmine because you niggas can't stay focused. And that's why I have an army of women around me, because I understand the power of being able to control yourself and to enable yourself to really be able to leverage that in order to win on a large scale. And you can't figure out why these women are so loyal to me. You can't figure out why you can't say nothing in front of them and they will fucking chop your neck off if you say anything. They will destroy you. They will kill you. If you are ever saying anything in my presence, they will absolutely go to war for me. And you can't figure out why. You can't figure out why you can't get a woman to be submissive and to follow you, even if you're not in a relationship with her, because you're so easily distracted by pussy. Wake the fuck up. You too old to still be distracted by pussy that is readily available in every way, shape, and form. For every different business that I've ever started, for the restaurants that I've built, Jasmine was right there with her hands in the pot like, yo, Anton, what do you want me to do? And when do you want me to do it? And how long do you want me to stay here? Because I have to make sure that you're successful. For every single business venture, for everything that I've ever done, she has always been right there with her hands in the mix at the front line saying, tell me what to do and I will do it without even thinking twice. And you can't figure out why the fuck you can't get nowhere in life because you're so easily distracted. That's what make me the 1%. That is the difference between men that are successful and men that think based off of what their current circumstances are. So, again, I just want to give an acknowledgement to all of the dope people, including the Jasmines and the Qs that are in my life that do phenomenal shit. And we going to continue to get this money. We going to continue to win. We going to continue to run the checkup. And we going to continue to beat the fuck out of every piece of competition that ever walk up to us. You guys are my heart. Y'all are my heart. All right. So again, make sure y'all get a like up for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. If you have not already, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Slan Sells Cars is in the building, says, last night's show was lit. The moment of the year was when the panel discovered that the person was trans. The look on everybody's face was priceless. I love you too, Jazz. Absolutely love you. Cliff Williams is in the building, says, life is the greatest of teachers. First comes the test, then the lesson. I was a monster now, but I'm ruthless, bloodthirsty, and savage. All our prey. Shout out to my dog, Cliff. Shout out to my dog, Cliff. I appreciate you. Bam Bam Lynch says, it's my wife and our 10-year anniversary. Shout out to Bam Bam Lynch. Continue to be awesome. Absolutely phenomenal, big dog. I love the fact that you and your wife has been married for a decade. That is a milestone moment. Take care, have fun, get it bust down tonight. Make sure you get all of that sloppy. You know what I'm saying, Bam Bam? Kingdom Legacy in this building says, appreciate you, Q. Q is the greatest of all time. Q is the greatest. Tristan Smith says they swapped out Roseanne Sarah for Mordecai from the movie First Sunday. Shout out to you. Let me give you that special one. Thank you, Tristan. I appreciate you. Ash is in the building, says, last night's show identified how black women act like they do not know the statistics on black women and black culture behavior as a whole community, not the specific individual person. Trans are exposing black women even more. Oh, we about to get into it. Thank you, Ash. I appreciate you. Is that Nicole? Nikolai Smith says, thanks for the information. I'm just getting in tune with your network. I created a CRUD app to help pros, litigants in the family law within Chicago, and would love your feedback. Send it to me, big dog. Send it to me. I want to check it out. Nero 313 is in the building with the fireball. I appreciate you. Just dropped that off. Ty said, Anton is sharpening both species. 1% reason why the culture can't get ahead. Appreciate you. Also, Honigan. Shout out to Honigan. I appreciate you for the 10 ball. Thank you, my friend, for continuing to rock with me. You are absolutely awesome. And then last but not least, let me give a shout out to Mike That Dude. Mike That Dude is in the building. All right, let's get started with the show. I'm definitely going to be reading super chats throughout the show. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Again, if you have not already, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Tiege Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Last night. Now, shout out to my dog Logic. Shout out to Q. Shout out to Quentin. Shout out to everybody that continue to. If y'all not tuning in to Monday nights, y'all fucking up on the other Anton channel. If y'all not tuning in to Monday nights, y'all are absolutely losing on the highest level. Monday nights is so lit. Logic, I gotta give some acknowledgement to Logic, because Logic is on a different time zone. He literally is doing a show at like 4 o'clock in the morning for us. Don't worry about it. We're gonna take care of Logic. Logic crazy, but we gonna definitely take care of him. But here's the thing that we realized yesterday. All right. We realized yesterday that women, in my opinion, are even more in a dire circumstance and dire circumstance, and they are behind the 8 ball more than ever. More than the fact of when we realized what the fuck was happening on the panel last night, because everybody was surprised. And again, nobody knew, but it was what it was. What we didn't really realize was the lessons that was going to be learned. The lessons that was going to be learned. And this is why it's important for us to embrace people that don't look like us, that come from a different background than us, that have a different perspective, a different mindset than us. Everybody wants to stay in this bubble, but nobody wants to actually explore and have the conversation. So let me fast forward a little bit, right? The conversations was based off of a lot what was going on in popular culture, such as Jess Hilarious, the simp guy that wound up putting himself in a position that he went and gave flowers or went and brought flowers and a girl stood him up. And then ultimately the trans woman that then had a reply to Jess Hilarious as a result of how it is that they seen things, right? But let me jump into the show. I'm gonna scrub through this because I don't know the actual timestamps, but I'm gonna scrub through this. And again, I'm gonna be reading super chats throughout the show. And this is the moment that we realized, around the moment that we mirrored. So me and Steve the Dean and Logic is going at it, and I got smoke for them, and I'm feeling a certain type of way about them. And then the conversation continues to go. And so the first thing that you have to take into consideration is that all of y'all, every last person that was in the chat, nobody realized what was happening until they heard Neeb speak. So when y'all sit out here and y'all talk about how y'all able to easily figure out whether or not somebody is a man or a woman, I'm not going for it. Because Neeb, just from all intents and purposes, just chilling, not saying anything, had y'all, including all of the people on the panel, had everybody fooled. But let me play it for you. On behind in the first place. That's the responsibility part. But right? It's not about her complaining about who the men are that's leading or who she's following. It's the
I will dismiss your ass.
Or what? If a woman today seeing you walking down the fucking street,
yes.
And listen. If Carly Russell seen Man Mindset walking down the fucking street and she said, Man Mindset, snatch me up, you know what the fuck is gonna happen?
What's gonna happen?
You're gonna get your ass arrested.
No, it's not believe all women. Narrative
is.
See, you don't.
It's literally a movement that's now you see everybody having a normal conversation. You see everybody arguing. The normal thing that we would usually do on a Monday night. We're passionate about what it is that we're talking about. But see, now y'all starting to zone in a little bit more now because you already know where this is going. But when you follow the chat and you replay the chat last night, everybody was just tuned into the conversation. Nobody had anything to say whatsoever. Let's continue. Believe all women.
No, the narrative should be believe in you. Run my program. Follow me. I'm going to lead you. And if you want to not follow, there's the fucking door, Anton.
You know, I made a mistake. I made a mistake, girl. I made a mistake earlier in my life.
If I can speak to the prompt, because, I'm hearing a lot of, interesting points being made. Leaders, good or bad, they are people with conviction.
Hey, look at came in like a Hodge twin. Hey, yes. Yeah. Hey, look at hold on. Look at Steve the Dean, Man Mindset, and then look at Logic. I'm gonna rewind it slightly.
Run my program. Follow me.
Look how passionate Steve the Dean is. Watch this. Look at Logic. Look at Steve the Dean. Look at Quentin, and then look at Q. In that order. Go into X. Look at Steve the Dean, Logic, Quentin, Q. All right?
I'm going to lead you. And if you want to not follow, there's the fucking door, Anton.
I made a mistake. I made a mistake, girl. I made a mistake earlier in my life.
If I can speak to the prompt, because, I'm hearing a lot of, interesting points being made. Leaders, good or bad, they are people with conviction. And
look at Logic. Look at Q. Q trying to hold that shit in so hard. Q is trying to hold it in. The Man Mindset, he can't hold nothing in. Logic just start fading to black. Watch Quentin. Look at Quentin.
Sometimes the convictions are well-intentioned. I think that one of the skills that leaders have that is, seen as feminine in a lot of contexts is communication, just generally speaking. People downplay, the importance of communicating. you can have the best ideas in the world,
Look
but
at
if
Quentin's
your
face.
communication style is, understand, do my shit, or fucking leave, bitch, like it's it's not gonna ring positively.
Listen to me, Nick. Listen to me. Here was
I tried my hardest. I swear to God. Like everything in me, I was trying to hold that shit in. I was trying to keep frame. I'm just chilling. And I just couldn't help myself.
saying this. Check this out, Nick. What I'm saying to you, dog, is that I have a standard and I have a program and I have an understanding. This is what Anton doesn't have. See, Anton is going to let women walk all over him and all this other shit. I'm saying this. This is my standard, my program. I'm gonna bring out the femininity in you because I am in my masculine. I'm not complaining about women, Anton. I'm not crying about women. I'm not saying they're moderate.
I don't even know if Steve the Dean. I don't even know if Steve the Dean actually even really caught it at first. Steve was like, skip it. I'm going to just keep going. I don't really know where that came from. I'm going to just keep going.
And I'm not saying they running shit. I'm saying that you're going to follow me. And if you don't follow my lead, I will dismiss you and get somebody else, Anton.
Hey, he right. Hey, look, I want to say this, Anton.
No, don't say nothing to me off camera.
Hold on.
Okay, this is not, you don't fade to black over here. That was only on Thursday.
Nigga, Barry White started talking. I had to fade to black. Well, look.
I hate you.
Hey, look.
I couldn't hold it.
What's your name?
Neve.
I hope you got thick skin because you finna get a lot of little strays today. But you know what I'm saying? It's all cool.
All good.
All right.
Throw it right back at them, Neve.
No, he put B-Buck. All right. But look, this is what I'm saying to you, Anton. Just think about this concept, right? What she was translating, right? And hold up. How am I talking to a nigga that ain't on camera?
Give me a second, my dog. Give me a second.
Y'all can't fade
Let me gather myself, dog.
Logic, keep talking. Just let me
gather myself. Let me gather myself.
Don't do fade to black on that Thursday weak ass panel that we used to be on.
Oh my God. Oh my Jesus. I am sweating and I am crying right now. That was wild. That was so wild. But here's okay, so after we got over the initial shock of this thing, right? Of everything that we were realizing that was unfolding before our eyes. After we got over the initial shock, if you fast forward a little bit, right? It's funny because Neve was chilling for the most part. Neve would jump in and say whatever it is that Neve wanted to say, depending on what it is that, whatever. And it's funny because all of that perceived, I'm just going to stay in my frame and all of that shit. As the show went on, Neve kept taking shots. Steve the Dean kept calling Neve Nick, right? Kept calling her Nick and everything. And so eventually, because what we didn't realize and we found out later is that Neve actually played rugby. And then eventually, all that shit came out. It came out to the wash.
Dissing. You sneak dissing. Say it with your chest.
I'm saying when boys don't have fathers in their lives. This is what happens when boys have the wrong idea when they hang out with women too much, thinking they can do things that women can do.
I grew up playing sports. I grew up with 4 brothers. I literally had my mom, and that shit's it. So maybe you could make an argument for single moms, but I also had a man in my life. Nothing you say makes sense. The only thing that makes sense is that the light reflects off your bald ass fucking head, and I can't see your right eyebrow. That's literally it. You shiny as hell.
Let's talk, Nick.
Oh, it gets 10 times worse. It gets 10 times. Listen, all of that, I'm a real woman. I want to be like y'all shit. All of that shit went out the window. that if you nook, if you book, why nook? If you book, why nook? If you book, that shit start coming all the way out. See, it's all fun and games until they lift up their skirt and you realize that, oh shit, you might have a bigger package than I do. It's all fun and games until they lift up their skirt and they was like, yeah, now what? Drop they fucking skirt on Steve. You realize that they might dress like a woman, but they got on boxer shorts, my nigga. Got on boxer shorts. It's all fun and games until they take that swig and then they start raising up on your ass. It's all fun and games until then, huh? Okay. Go ahead, Steve.
The problem with you, buddy, is the fact that...
Buddy, remember at the beginning of this conversation when I said pronouns don't matter? You digging at the bottom of your pockets because I bodied you at the beginning of this conversation. Now you scraping the barrel.
Hey, Nicholas!
Listen to me.
You got bodied. You got bodied at the beginning of the conversation. That's why you've been quiet as hell this whole time. You've been sneak dissing in the corner, hoping I didn't speak up and call your ass out. Now that I'm talking and speaking to your ass, you scared as shit, trying to make jokes, trying to smile it off.
Nah, Steve. Don't make no jokes now. He said, I'll pull up on you. I'm going to pull the fuck up on you and it's going to be up from there. She said, you scared. You scared as hell. Now you want to change your voice and call me buddy. You wasn't saying that shit earlier in the show when you felt comfortable, did you? Did you? You scared as hell. I'll body you. She said, let me find out. Let me find out where you live at. I'm coming to get your monkey ass. Say something else, Steve. Say something else. Yo, had me shook. Had me shook. I started folding clothes. I started getting into my femininity. I swear to God, I went and changed the load. When I jumped off camera, I went and changed the load. I said, you know what? Let me go ahead and throw in some whites because the blacks are done. I need to go and get my clothespin or whatever. When I heard that yes. When I heard that deep voice, I said, let me go ahead and change the load. I started doing laundry. I swear, honest to God, I started doing laundry. They tell you, go and watch the whole show. Yes. I started doing laundry. I said, ooh, wee.
But all I can see is your fucking forehead. That's it. That's all I can see. I'm sorry. Where does it end? We don't know.
You will never be able to have a baby, and that's gonna fuck with you. You will never be able to have a period. You will never be able.
I'm so sad. I can't believe. Like, no disrespect to biological women. I love y'all, but we already it's ironic that you bring it up because Island's about to bring us into that portion of the conversation. Am I wrong? Yeah, he's about to talk about it. In my opinion, it's gonna blow your fucking one-dimensional mind, dude. Trust me.
You want to be a woman?
Now you've been on this panel since the beginning. You got bodied by Anton. You got bodied by me. You're lucky Quentin isn't talking because you're gonna get bodied by him too.
Nicholas, please let me talk, Nicholas.
And then listen. One thing I know, and two things is for sure certain, is when you see somebody. Listen. I don't know a lot about the trans community, but I know this for sure. When they start putting their hair in a ponytail, it's fucking over. I'm walking away. Listen, I'm not about to get beat up by a man in a dress. Because that's still a whole nigga up under there. Yes. I'm not about to get fucked up by a man in a dress. When they start putting their hair in a ponytail, it's up from there. It's up from there. When the ponytail come out, when they start doing like this, it's up from there, fam. Call that shit out. I'm done. It's over for me.
Hey, that was like a snake dance. I'm silent over here.
What I'm saying to you, Nicholas, is that you're jealous of these women because they're more women than you, and you know that.
I'm not jealous of anyone. I'm comfortable with my skin, which is why I'm on the panel where the entire chat hates me, and I'm with 7 other people that don't fuck with me. You think I would be insecure if I was doing this? No, I'm able to decompress, remove myself from this conversation, and live my life, knowing that the shit you say Doesn't matter. But you're gonna go after this conversation. You're gonna see clips of yourself getting bodied, and you're gonna be in my DMs asking me to delete them. Just wait. Just wait.
Hey, Steve, we can't hear you, man, because she's driving
And
out
watch
your
this.
mic.
That ain't even the funniest part.
Hold on.
And I'm talking on mute.
Steve, they say they can't hear you. I can't hear you either. Hold up.
Oh,
Yo,
Steve.
Steve. Nicholas, what are you saying?
Nicholas,
What
where
are you saying?
Nicholas, put on your dresses and your
Steve,
bras.
pick it up. Come on,
Can't hear you,
Steve.
big dog.
Steve, we can't hear you.
You'll never
No
be a
boy,
woman.
we can't hear you. Oh shit.
Woman.
We can't hear him. All right.
Watch
Hey,
this part.
Hey, homie, hold up.
That ain't even the worst of it, right? Let me fast forward a little bit for y'all.
Hold on, homie.
Oh, he's actually mad. Look at his lip.
Hold up, homie.
Look at his lip. He's so mad.
Hey, hold up. My
Hold
nigga,
on. This
get
is
out
funny as
of
hell. Let me
here.
get some
Steve,
water. I'll
Steve,
be right
I'm telling
back.
you. Wait, now I just want to let him know. Look, what the fuck?
Oh my God. Fucking pranced away on him. Yo, pranced away on him. Did y'all see that? Can I play that one more time, y'all? Hold on. Let me get this one more time.
Let me get some
Steve,
water. I'll
Steve,
be right
I'm telling
back.
you. Wait, now I just want to let him know. Look, what the fuck? Oh, man.
Oh my God. Steve ain't gonna be able to live that one down. Steve can't live this one down. Check this out one more time.
Let me get some
Steve,
water. I'll
Steve,
be right
I'm telling
back.
you. Wait, now I just want to let him know. Look, what the fuck? Oh,
What
man.
just happened? What happened?
Where'd he go?
Oh my God. Steve the Dean. But that's not the point that we making here, guys. This is not the point. The fun is the funny part is the funny part. But here's the caveat. So then Neve goes back and forth with all of the women, go one-on-one with all of the women. And then the guys, we just sat back and watched it happen. And when we actually started standing up, because me and Neve went in, I'll share it with you.
I'm lying about that too.
This is just lies at this point.
What?
Listen.
Hold on, let me fast forward.
Two things can be true at the same time.
Hold on.
But I do want to tell y'all that I appreciate.
Jesus, that was Quinn.
That was two things can be
And shit. You said that you threw black women under the
white man, and it's a convenient way for them to be able to deflect from the truth. And the truth
is that it's mentally ill white men. It's a fact. Like,
and
that's
this is
not
why
Literally, because that is the truth. Because if
about this conversation is
the worst thing,
All right, so I'm gonna play a little bit of this part, and then y'all can make your own assessment.
conversation is that you proving the algorithm shit is real. You only hear what you want to hear.
See, the thing about it is that the one thing you're gonna find about me is that I'm objectively real on all sides, so I hold everybody accountable. Including people
But you
in my
come into this
own
conversation.
no. When black men do shit, I bring them to the front of the congregation. I don't conflate arguments by saying, "But this happened on that side." We talking about you right now. We're not talking about what we doing. We have our time. We hold women accountable. We hold men accountable. But when we start talking about you, you acting like two things can't be true at the same time. We talking about
literally because that is the truth. Because if a trans woman shoots up a school, that's one thing. But the reality is, the fact of the matter is that it's being done on a regular basis by fucking white wannabe Nazis and fucking white nationalists.
We're not going for it.
If you don't believe that shit,
the last white mass shooting,
target fucking black people too.
The last
it's a
white
fucking
mass
fact.
shooting,
You just deny a fact is ridiculous. That's not a good point.
Listen, you got to acknowledge reality with trans women calling you delusional because it's true.
The last mass white shooting was a white man that was dressed like a woman that went
No,
into
it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
But you don't acknowledge the trans person. To you, that's a man. You're proving my point. Mentally ill white men are shooting up schools. But you don't acknowledge them as women, right? You don't acknowledge them as trans, right?
It's always white dudes.
And you know what
denying that is ridiculous.
This whole conversation is
it's all the same.
When it happens, right? It don't matter if they dress like a woman or not. It's gonna be either a mentally ill black man.
As to you, we brought this point up trying to act like it was a pandemic.
And it's a convenient way for them to be able to deflect from the truth. And the truth
is that it's mentally ill white men. It's a fact. Like,
and
that's not a good point to try to.
Now check this out. I'm going back and forth with Neve, right? And I'm literally in a space where I'm defending biological women. I want y'all to see this. The entire time that I'm going back and forth with Neve and that I'm holding him accountable or them accountable or whatever the fuck that they identify themselves as, the entire time that I'm going back and forth and I said, listen, bring y'all punk asses to the front of the congregation because y'all not absolved from the bullshit that y'all out here spewing and that y'all shouldn't be in women's sports. You shouldn't be using women's bathrooms, so on and so forth, right? The entire time, the only thing that I can fucking hear is a woman coming back at me on the behalf of somebody that I'm defending her from. The only thing that I could hear is a black woman coming back at me from the very thing that I'm defending them from. Now, the conversation had evolved over into what Jess Hilarious was talking about. And that Jess Hilarious and Q had already played the clip about the fact that Jess Hilarious was saying, who's going to stand up for real women? So then, as a social experiment, I decide that, okay, I'm tired of y'all seeing y'all ass get mollywopped on this panel by Neve. Let me come in and hold them accountable for the fact that they not biological women and they should not be involved in the things that y'all are inherently made for. And the only fucking thing that I can hear the entire time was a black woman that was trying to hold me accountable for having a conversation with somebody that was born a biological male. Let me play a little bit more for you so you can see what's going on.
And this is why you ain't never got to worry about us. And when we start defending y'all, this is the reason why you ain't never got to worry about us.
You haven't defended
shit. You throw your own women under the bus. You did so like 10
years ago.
We started this conversation talking about single black women. Single black women are being impregnated by black men. Why are they single? Because men aren't man enough to stick around.
You're conflating arguments again.
There's so many dead people.
You see the double team? You see the double team? Do you see it? Do you see the double team? Black women cannot wait, cannot wait to oppose you on behalf of somebody that's not even a reflection of what it is that they trying to be like. They have no similarities, no commonalities, nothing whatsoever that they have in common. As a matter of fact, the conversation wasn't even about black women. It was about trans people. It wasn't even about black women. It was about trans people taking accountability for what it is that they doing and the things that we agree or don't agree with. And they can't wait. And then y'all keep asking me, well, why don't y'all come to the aid of black women? This is the shit that y'all made for yourselves. This is a circumstance that y'all continue to subject yourselves to.
If no one is sticking around for their kids, why are they sticking
that out of your own mouth.
It's a difference between holding women accountable.
You didn't hold anybody accountable. You said you take joy in the downfall of black women. You said that out of your own mouth.
A reflection of the thing that I advocate for.
No,
so I am married for 19 years to a black woman.
You weren't talking about that before. You were talking.
Now, for the next 25 minutes, I'm arguing back and forth with the very woman that says that they need protection. For the next 20 to 25 minutes, y'all can go and watch the whole show. It's on the Anton Daniels channel. I'm going back and forth with the very women that said that they need protection. Y'all don't want us. Y'all said that y'all don't need us. Y'all said y'all got this. You don't want us. You don't need us. You overtalk us. You said you got this. These is y'all homegirls. Y'all said that this is y'all bad bitches. Y'all let them use y'all bathroom. They sleep next to y'all. It's funny because I was having prior to this, and I don't know exactly what the timestamp is because it was late last night or whatever. But prior to this, let me add one more caveat into this. I was talking to Neve, and I said, Neve, you identify as a woman, right? And Neve said, yes. I said, Neve, you hang out with both groups of men and women, right? He said, yes. I said, Neve, have you ever actually fucked on any of the girls that was your bad bitches, that was your homegirls that you hang out with? And Neve unequivocally, after he added the context, says, yes, I have fooled around with some of the very women that was supposed to be my friends and my bad bitches. Go and watch the show. Neve said that he had fucked around and fooled around with some of the very women that they say that they are in cahoots with and they bad bitches. And then right after that, when we start holding them accountable, I seen nothing but pushback from black women that wasn't even supposed to be a part of the conversation. And so if you are not seeing this play out right before your very eyes, that y'all don't want help, and if you do, you need to hold each other accountable first before you start asking for somebody else to participate in what it is that you're going to suffer from. You do not want black men to come to your aid. You do not want us to hold anybody else accountable. You do not want to have the conversation in truth. You don't want to be realistic about what your expectations are. You want to fight the very thing that is in your best interest, and the very men that then protect you with what it is that they add a value into your life as far as provision and protection. Why should we stand up for you and you won't even stand up for what's in the best interest of yourself? Until you hold yourselves accountable, please do not ask us for anything and anything that we have as far as our resources, provision, and protection. Cool. Fuck us. We gonna let y'all hang yourself. We gonna let y'all drown in your own misery. Fight your own battles. Go and fight these full-blown niggas. At the end of the day, Neve played fucking rugby. Fight your battle then. Fight your battle. I'm not helping you so you can stab me. This is the same thing that I was talking about when people keep saying, oh man, you wouldn't go out and save a woman if you seen her getting mollywopped by a dude that's in a dress. Nope. That's your homegirl. Save yourself. You tough. You tough. You got it. Save yourself, black woman. Women going their own way. Not MGTOW, WGTOW now. I'm advocating for WGTOW. Fuck MGTOW. We can go with WGTOW now. We can go with WGTOW. WGTOW is women going their own way, men divesting themselves from the bullshit that we see out here in these streets. I hope, listen, this is my plea for y'all. I hope that every one of these people that y'all are in cahoots with, I hope that they walk inside of your house. I hope they take your panties and put them over your head. I hope they give you a fucking wedgie. I hope that they go over there and slap all of your period stuff, your period supplies in your overnight bag. I hope they slap that shit out of your hand while you over there trying to walk away and go and get you some dick. I hope that they take your grits, your eggs, and that they pour them over your stove and let that shit boil and cook until the stove is no good anymore. I hope they take your high heels and they do like this on them until all of your high heels is flats. I hope that they take your man and then they man bust them down and then they come back and bust you down right after. I hope that y'all get in a poly relationship and that y'all all love on each other and you kiss the same man that kissed them. I hope they take your lipstick and they make you eat it. I hope that you get every single thing that you wanted out of this situation that you didn't even know came along with it, because it is a package deal. Oh, it's a package deal. It's a motherfucking package deal, and you gonna get everything that you didn't want to come along with it. Good luck. And don't call me. My phone no longer works with your number in it. You are blocked. You are blocked. No longer. I have a new movement. All men watch these chicks get mollywopped. Don't call the police. Don't even call the police when you see them. Let them try to figure out where their phone is. Let them scratch. Well, let the man take y'all French tip nails and he gonna scratch your eyes out. And then you gonna get them fake ass eyelashes in your eyes and you're not even gonna be able to get to your phone in order to call the police. That's your fucking fault. Deal with that shit. Deal with that shit. No longer are we continuing to put ourselves at harm's risk for the people that's going to stab us in the back afterwards. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck everything that you stand for. Deal with that shit. Deal with that shit. This generation is over. It's fucked. It's over. We going to have to just get a whole new Thanos this shit. Snap that shit. Get all of the stones. Matter of fact, I think that when you go up and get the Soul Stone, a lot of y'all not familiar with Marvel. When you go up and get the Soul Stone, we used to love y'all. You know, in order to get the Soul Stone, you got to trade the thing in that you love the most. Soul for a soul. I'm not even going to cry when I throw you off the ledge. I'm throwing you off the ledge and I'm going to get my Soul Stone. When I go up to get the Soul Stone, I'm throwing you off the fucking ledge. And I'm not even, Thanos cried when he threw Gamora over. I'm not even going to cry. He going to be like, soul for, before he can even finish saying soul for a soul. Where are the black women? I'm having them hoes throw over the ledge. Give me my goddamn Soul Stone so I can change this shit. Y'all wonder why we upset. We upset with y'all. So out of y'all purpose. So out of your goddamn minds. When did y'all get so crazy? How did y'all get so far off the reservation where you defending somebody that don't even look like you and is trying to take your panties and your flats from the very ones that then marry you and make sure that you're taken care of? When the fuck did we start doing that? Let me read some of these super chats. I got to get to them. I got to acknowledge the people that support us and love us. Shout out to Mike, that dude. I appreciate you, bro. J Hub is in the building, says she sound like a yin yang. Yin yang in this thing. Yin yang in this thing. Doom doom doom. Doom 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 doom. Doom doom doom. Shout out to Levi Apparel. Levi Apparel says, yo, Anton is late. Is that a dude talking? You shouldn't be late. Yes, Neve is a biologically born man. LLC says, so the solution is for straight black men to just date trans black women since they basically can really only relate to other men anyway. Got it. Shout out to LLC. That is a complicated analogy right there. Bam Bam Lynch says, when you get a $2 super chat, play Logic. What the fuck? I'm going to have to go and get that sound bite. Kingdom Legacy is in the building, says, Steve deserved all that smoke. Steve was getting mollywopped last night by Neve. Quentin says, Anton got jumped by a tranny and a black woman. That's a whole fact. And I was fighting for my life. And when I got the fuck out of there, I said, I'm never going back in that cave again. Steven Slayer one says, Anton, it's a black woman acting masculine versus a black man acting feminine. Stay out of their chaos and walk away, fam. Got it. You ain't got to tell me twice. Chris Sean Humphrey says, black women just laid down in the street. I drove the bus. Best. You remember when I said that? Shh, they got to watch the show. Jadis is in the building, says, Anton, you late. I've been saying this for years. No cap. Spaces is in the building, says, over talking, being the loudest in the conversation and throwing insults first is not the same as bodying someone in an argument. That's all Neve did. Well, I know one thing. Neve walked away and was switching on Steve the Dean's ass as he was doing it. Shout out to my dog, Steve the Dean. You took it like a champ, though. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Also, the Patreon, the first day of the month is the best day to join. Black Man Unfiltered says, let me acknowledge Black Man Unfiltered. Black Man Unfiltered says, well, first let me get Jamal Fowler. Jamal Fowler says, now I want to hear the yin yang in this thing. Yin yang in this thing. Black Man Unfiltered is in the building, says, man, I'm over here laughing my ass off at work. These people at the bank looking at me crazy, bro. Shout out to Black Man Unfiltered. Ali is a homie. He was supporting the platform last night. He said, Transformers, women in Transformers, more than meets the eye. Says, women are the original Transformers. This is why so many people have identity issues being overmothered, where women endorse you can be anything. You got to be who you supposed to be with a man. Nah, Ali. They don't want that. Look at Fan Fan in there fighting. Fan Fan is in there fighting for the very thing that's going to be against her. Fan, I'm going to pray that they don't take your man either. All right? Somebody saying, Anton, this is one of the greatest shows yet. We got more to come. Shout out to my dog, Ali. I appreciate you. Make sure you guys hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. LeBron's I Promise School. I'm not gonna cap. I was very, very reluctant to even talk about this story. I've seen this story. I've seen it a lot. I tried to avoid talking about this story with everything within me, but I have to be objective. And the narrative is this, and I'm going to play Candace Owens' perspective about it. Because this is a bigger conversation that needs to be had. And I also got a question for Dr. Umar Johnson, considering what was going on. Every single eighth grader, according to reports, has not been able to, for years, every single one of them in LeBron's I Promise School, him and his foundation and Nike has plowed millions and millions into this school. They've made sure, Jeremy H., I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. They've made sure that they allow for them to be able to go to college. They've created environments where they can study. They've given them housing. They've created state-of-the-art facilities. LeBron came in and gave them hugs and all of that. And no eighth grader has been able to pass. In Akron, Ohio, as a part of the I Promise School, no eighth grader has been able to pass the state mandatory tests. What does that say? What does that say? The other question that I want to ask you guys, considering that y'all always running in the Victim Olympics and you said, yo, it's about how much money going into the black community, opportunities, environments, and all of this. And that is what LeBron has basically came back to his community and provided for the people. And it didn't work. Let me ask y'all a question. 2 questions. A, what's the solution? And B, If LeBron can't do it with the unlimited amount of resources that he has in order to find the best educators, guarantee sending people over to college, paying for their parents, getting their parents' job, giving them places to stay, state-of-the-art facility, what can we hope for when it comes to the FDBG, EMG, ABCD, Elemental P school that Dr. Ifantunde is putting together? What can we expect from that? Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it popping.
LeBron James, where do we begin? All right, well, I'll tell you the headline here. His I Promise school is failing. But before we talk about that, let's just talk about my general commentary regarding LeBron James that has earned me the ire of the black community, because how dare you insult one of our kings, King James? Oh my God, he can put the basketball in the net, and like, oh my gosh, Candace, that means he's a king or something like that. No, that's really stupid. It's really stupid to believe that we should be following the ideas of someone who is, in fact, a remarkable athlete. And I'm glad that he has this incredible athleticism. It's wonderful to watch him play basketball. But why do we listen to LeBron James? LeBron James, in my view, is all brawn and no brains. And I have said this repeatedly, and I'm going to just unpack this for you slowly before we get to the obvious failures of his school, which I said years ago. Nobody ever gives me any credit for being right? I'm just being a hater. I just hate him because he's a strong black man who knows how to play basketball or something ridiculous like that. So LeBron James obviously does not read books. He is not clever. He is not smart. He is not what Kobe Bryant was, but he wants you to believe he is, which is why he is often seen holding a book and always remarkably reading the very first page when he has photogs catching him reading a book. Here is a meme generally showing that. It's showing you 8 pictures. What are the odds? 8 pictures of the paparazzi catching him reading the first page of a book.
This is the part where I disagree with Candace, and this is where I fundamentally think that she needs to be brought to the front of the congregation. This part of her narrative is where I fundamentally disagree with Candace Owens, and I think that she needs to be brought to the front of the congregation. You can't start off your narrative by attacking the very person that is pouring his time, resources, and empowering his relationships in order to actually go back and build a state-of-the-art facility school where he came from. I don't really understand why this is relevant. Why is it relevant whether or not LeBron James is reading a book or not? How do we attack the person and say that LeBron James isn't smart? He's literally the most intelligent person on the court when it comes to basketball IQ, and that doesn't come from just out of nowhere. That comes from being dedicated. That comes from actually having intellect. That comes from having wisdom. That comes from him being able to really be able to decipher how to move and groove throughout society. He's made some of the best business decisions as a businessman. I don't really understand why that's relevant to what the I Promise School is doing. He is not running the I Promise School himself. He is empowering other people and putting people in place. Because in that same argument, I can say, well, how come LeBron James was much more effective in empowering all of the people that surround him and identifying great friends that he then put in a position such as Maverick Carter over there at Clutch Sports, and all of his friends are able to be successful if he's not able to identify all of the great people that need to be in certain positions? I don't think you become a billionaire being an idiot. You don't have to be a scholar. You don't have to be a scholar. He's not running the school. He's not the principal. You do not have to be a billionaire. You don't get to being a billionaire by being an idiot, right? And this is the one thing that I absolutely do not like about Candace Owens, is because the first thing that she does in order to paint a narrative is she start attacking the person with irrelevant content and information that has nothing to do with whether or not the school is successful or not. How is this relevant? Let me fast forward past this part because I don't think that this is relevant at all.
So you are holding the autobiography of Malcolm X along with...
Over the years,
Like, oh crap, what's this book about? Malcolm X. Okay, he used the word Negro a lot.
Somebody said, no, you become a billionaire being 6'9" and good at basketball. No, that's not true. It's a lot of people that came out of Antoine Walker. You could just name them. Listen, there are no billionaires outside of Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James when it comes to. It's 1,000 people that played in the NBA and can shoot a basketball. It's 3 that wind up accumulating the equivalent of a net worth of over $1 billion. 3. Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, and LeBron James. 3. That's less than a 1% turnout rate for you being able to leverage your athleticism and then make smart business decisions. Come on, y'all. 3. That's it. What are we talking about? That's less than like a 0.1% turnout rate considering how many people then came through the NBA. Come on, y'all. Let's be for real. When we have these conversations, we have to attack what it is that's being communicated or what the results are, not necessarily the person themselves. This has nothing to do with LeBron James and his intellect, and I would even say that he is very smart.
A very, 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 very smart man. Gosh, I'm going to do this third paragraph on. Malcolm, we have to unite. And that's kind of the point of the book, is that Black America has to unite. That's probably kind of the point of every book that's been written by a Black person. And I really hope I get an A on this book report regarding this book that I didn't read. This is what LeBron James is. And people are upset with me for calling it out. You can like him as an athlete. He's not an intellect. And so when he announced that he was opening the I Promise School, I obviously was critical of this because you cannot give people handouts. It does not work. The students have to do the work. You can't say, oh, because you're Black, you just needed a school. And he said, I'm going to guarantee every kid a scholarship to college.
I disagree with her. When I first seen this and I first read the stats and it said that, well, the I Promise School with no 8th grader has been able to pass the state mandatory tests and all of this other type of stuff. That's one thing, because then we have the solution for, okay, we have the infrastructure, you have the money, you have the resources, you have the ability to be able to pull yourself up by your bootstraps. I do think that failure is necessary in a lot of instances, but you have to pivot now. And so you can never criticize somebody for leveraging their relationships, leveraging their foundation, and leveraging their business partnerships in order to go back into the community where you're from in order to create a school and a state-of-the-art facility where people can then go and study in peace. Now, what they do with the opportunity is on them. You also have to make sure, because you can't make parents make kids study. You have to change it over a period of time and evolve it in a culture. I'm going to give you the opportunity. That is all he did. He gave them an opportunity to be able to go to college for free. He gave them an environment for them to be able to study. He gave them great teachers. He gave them a leg up back in his community. I don't know how you criticize that. If I give you an opportunity and then you go over there and fumble it, can you say that I failed, or is it that you failed, or we need to continue to evolve and change the culture? How do we criticize a man that is going back and creating schools and opportunities for people, and then starting to try to solution for how it is that you can then get people to get to do the thing that's in their own best interest, versus, because I see y'all complain all the time, oh man, the resources in our communities, we don't have no more great schools, this and that, so on and so forth. Okay, he created the foundation. Now we have more insight and information, right? How do we then pivot to where we can change the cultural norms, or do we make an adjustment over here, or so on and so forth, right? But I can never, ever, ever criticize a person that went back and created a state-of-the-art environment for kids to be able to study in. We got motherfucking libraries on every corner. That don't mean you gonna walk into it and study.
As if that's going to work. That's not how it works in meritocracy, right? These children have to actually want to do well in school. And it turns out that they don't want to do well in school. Yes, not a single 8th grade student has passed state math test in 3 years at the I Promise School, which is based in Akron, Ohio. And just to be clear, he is funding the school entirely via his LeBron James Family Foundation. And you will remember the media campaign. I think Don Lemon went down with him to the school and talked about his goals, a media campaign behind LeBron James giving back to the community, how they were trying to convince you that this is going to be a remarkable success. A lot of marketing dollars went into that. Let me jog your memory. Take a look.
I promise to go to school,
to never give up,
no matter what.
The I Promise School is more than a school. It's a place where we are family means everything. A school where teachers greet you with hugs and high fives, where strong STEM academics, a place where learning is about more than books.
Well, you heard it there first, guys. They're going to greet you with hugs and high fives, and learning is about, quote, more than books. I don't know, maybe they should have made the learning about the books because, as I said, it turns out that not a sole student in its fall 8th grade class passed the state math test since the 3rd grade. This has just been going on for years, according to the Akron Beacon Journal. So this school is, in fact, a failure. It's not really a failure, actually, more than it is a revealing truth about something that I have been saying forever. Black America has to want to pick itself up from the bootstraps, of its own bootstraps. You can't have a community that whines about racism the entire time.
And this is where I agree with her. This is where I agree with her. I'm tired of the narrative of I can't pick myself from my bootstraps. I need reparations. I need better education. I need better facilities. I need people to go and arrest the criminals in my own neighborhood without me actually participating in that because I know who the criminals are. I just need the police to go out there and catch them. You have to want better for yourself. We have to change our cultural norms. We have to change what we think is cool. We have to get our parents to actually focus on getting the kids together before they ever even touch the I Promise school so that they can focus on learning instead of the teachers having to be overglorified babysitters. It is your responsibility as a parent to put your kid in a position to where, or don't have kids. Or don't have kids. I'm not going to sit here and blame the school. I don't believe that the school is failing. I don't believe that the school is a flop. I think that the school is an opportunity, a phenomenal opportunity for kids to be able to come in, and if the parents actually leverage the opportunity that's in front of them, if they see the value of what's in front of them, and they can leverage this once in a lifetime opportunity that nobody before them ever had, and probably nobody after them will get, and they put their kids in a position to be successful in the environment that is there for them to be great, then they can then change the legacy of their family going forward forever. But you cannot put that on the teachers. You cannot put that on the administrators. You cannot put it on the school. And more importantly, you cannot put that at the feet of LeBron James. And this is why we misguided. Because culturally, we don't understand. We do not get it. LeBron cannot make you drink the water. He can only lead you to it. He cannot put the whole fucking community of Akron on his shoulders, and y'all don't even know who the fucking mayor is. Y'all don't know who the school superintendents are. You don't know none of that. He cannot change the dynamic of an entire community. All he can do is give you the opportunity to do it for yourself. What more do you want from this man? What more do you want from him? I can tell you every single thing. I can lay it out for you, but I cannot make you do it. It takes the same way it takes two people to do everything else in life. It takes the teacher to teach it, and then it takes the student to implement it. You cannot hold everybody else accountable. You have to look at other things and other issues, such as the very parents that had these kids in the first place. I don't understand how y'all even having this conversation.
Where's the racism at LeBron James' school? The entire thing is focused on basically saying you're a winner just because you're black, and that's not true. You're a winner when you win. A lot of people are losers, okay? That is so evidentiary. We have a lot of losers in society that believe that they can become winners if they whine the loudest. A bunch of people that don't want to work and want to be given handouts because look how cool I am. I go to LeBron James' school. LeBron James gave me a high five and a hug. Nobody cares about your high five or your hugs. Teach these kids to learn how to read. If they don't know how to read, fail them, flunk them, okay? People need failures in life to be able to develop. That is the truth. Failure is good for people, not pats on the backs and high fives. But what do I know? I don't know. I guess I'm the only person who actually wants Black America to get better. And
I agree with her on that. I think that she's right and she's wrong. I think that she was wrong in order to criticize LeBron James, the person. But she's right in that Black America and the culture is trash, and we need to change how it is that we look at what success is and what it takes to get there. But there's no way you can hold LeBron James accountable for the opportunity that he's giving other people that then don't take advantage of it. She is right and she is wrong. She is wrong for attacking a person, but she's right when it comes to the culture being absolutely trash. Objectively. And I like Candace Owens. Let me go ahead and read some of these super chats. Jeremy H says, I recently saw a pro-biological woman's rally and a bunch of trans anti-protesters show up to fight them. Cops look confused. This is what they wanted. Let them have it. Aaron says, the secret invasion has begun. I don't think it's a secret though, Aaron. I believe that it's right there in front of people's faces and they refuse to acknowledge it or deal with it accordingly. Steven Slayer 1 says, you need to destroy the culture, which is the same culture that poisons the rich, poor, smart, and ignorant. Thank you, Steven. I appreciate you. Thank you, Steven, my boy. Let me also acknowledge Black Heights Advancing Your Career, my guy. Says they want $1 million each for reparations, and when the money runs out, they will say they are broke because we wasn't taught financial literacy. And you teach financial literacy every single day. Black Heights Advancing Your Career is teaching every single day on this channel. And don't even get the love and support that he's supposed to be having. Thank you, Black Heights. Kingdom Legacy says, guarantee the opportunity, not the outcome. KS. Appreciate you. I appreciate that. Nero 313 says that's why Oprah opened her school in Africa. Let me also acknowledge my dog Ash. Ash is in the building, says Jason Whitlock did a show on the I Promise School initiative. He goes more in depth. Maybe I'll review that tomorrow. Shout out to you, Ash. I'm gonna check that out. I'm gonna write that down in my notes and I'm gonna read that and see if he uncovers some more things that I'm not familiar with. Okay. Again, make sure I hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Mark Jackson. You guys you thought that the ESPN layoffs was over. And I'm here to tell you that it's not over. While Kendrick Perkins and Malika continues to stay on the roster for ESPN, ESPN is 100% updating and revamping. I've never seen ESPN in the news this much before in my life. I've never seen ESPN in the news this much before in my entire life. We got Stephen A. Smith that's recruiting Shannon Sharp. Jalen Rose, Jeff Van Gundy, and now Mark Jackson is fired. Malika Andrews is still there. Mark Smith, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. And Kendrick Perkins. Pat McAfee just got a bag. Every single day, it seems like that there's news coming out. Now, Jeremy H. says, who the F is Mark Jackson? Mark Jackson, okay, let me bring y'all back into the front of the congregation. Mark Jackson is the original architect and coach that put together Stephen Curry. Not put together, but coach Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and kind of sort of put them together with the Golden State Warriors. He was the original coach. Mark Jackson is believed to have been blackballed by the NBA from coaching ever again because he was religious. And one of the things that he used to do was he used to come in and have prayer and make people go to church with him and all of this other type of stuff, right? And so essentially, Mark Jackson was fired from the Golden State Warriors and he was replaced by Steve Kerr, who eventually led the Golden State Warriors to a championship. But Mark Jackson is also an ESPN analyst that calls a lot of the games and he has a lot of the good takes. Mama, where is that man? He says a lot of the different things that he narrates on NBA 2K. He's a great analyst. He's a basketball genius. But a lot of people believe that he was blackballed from ever coaching again in the NBA, but he is a phenomenal analyst, an absolutely phenomenal analyst. He's the person that kind of gave the foundation for who you see Steph Curry and Klay Thompson is today, and he was recently just fired. And when ESPN said that the firings was not over, they were not fucking kidding, all right? Mark Jackson is now laid off from ESPN. Mama, there goes that man. Hand down, man down. Y'all saying it in the chat. Y'all saying it in the chat, all right? But let's get into it, all right? So Mark Jackson had nothing but love because he's a Christian. He's largely a really good Christian. Nothing but love for ESPN in a statement hours after the network laid him off on Monday. The former NBA player and coach had been in his second stint at ESPN, and this past season had been a part of the broadcast team that called the NBA Finals. He wrote, he was let go and had unexpectedly been told by ESPN that his services were no longer needed. Although shocked and dismayed with the suddenness of it all, I would like to thank ESPN and all of the staff at the NBA ESPN crew for allowing me to be a part of the NBA part of the organization for the past 15 years. Let me see if I can just go ahead. This is what he said. On Twitter, now it's called X? I don't know. He said, this morning, I was informed that my services was no longer needed at ESPN. Although shocked and dismayed, this is the statement that he gave. Although shocked and dismayed with the suddenness of it all, I would like to thank ESPN and all of the staff of the ESPN crew for allowing me to be a part of the organization for the past 15 plus years. That's a long time to be with an organization, 15 years. I would also like to thank NBA fans watching at home and in the arenas throughout the league for all of the support. To the NBA, a heartfelt thank you for allowing a kid to continue to accomplish his dreams. It has been an honor to sit beside two legends in the business who are like brothers to me, Mike Breen and Jeff Van Gundy, who was also fired, and learn so much from them. Lisa Salters is a GOAT, hopefully not a throat goat, is a GOAT and like a sister to me, and I'm so proud of the work she continues to do. To the best producer in the world and my friend, Tim Corrigan, I give the utmost gratitude and thanks for always inspiring and supporting me. To all of the staff and crew that may have never been seen on camera, please know that you are always seen by me and so greatly appreciated. Finally, I wish greater measures of success to the new ESPN team. May they continue to elevate this game that has given me a home and a life. I leave ESPN with nothing but gratitude, while all knowing that my highest praise goes to God. Through it all, He has always sustained me, and His grace allows me to know that there are greater blessings ahead. I look forward to what He has in store next. Blessings, Mark J, short for Mark Jackson. Hand down, man down. So, let's see. Breen will remain, but is expected that he'll be joined by Doris Burke. Let's go into that. All right. Mark Jackson is out at ESPN, and the Post has learned Jackson's joined Jeff Van Gundy and being laid off after the two had been Mike Breen's co-analysts on the NBA Finals. They are expected to be replaced by Doris Burke and Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers is going to be replacing these people. And it's not about the sports. I see you, Sid. Rock out with me for a minute. This is not about sports. This is always coming back down to the money. So what are we saying here when we having this conversation? Why is this important? It's not about the sports and it's not about Mark Jackson. It's about the company, Disney, the parent company, is bleeding money. If I am you, and I'm not telling you what to do and I'm not a financial analyst, I'm just giving you my opinion of what it is that I see from a business perspective. And everything that is happening in the weeds is ultimately leading me up to a conclusion as to whether or not I think that Disney owns ESPN, whether or not Disney is a smart financial investment. Last week on Friday, I broke down why I don't believe that Apple will ever bail Disney out in buying out the company, right? I talked about the whole idea that Apple and the way that they run the company has no use for a lot of the different ways in which Disney runs the company. So, for example, I don't think that Apple wants to be in the business of the Disney World and the Disneylands in Florida and the different competition that DeSantis is going on over there and over in California and then over in Tokyo. It's too many things and too much debt that does not align with how it is that Apple runs the company. And so when I see something like this happen, in which ESPN is trying to pivot, they're trying to cut costs while at the same time maintain a level of relevancy while bleeding money. And then you have Stephen A. Smith that is petitioning for them to get Shannon Sharpe. They just gave Pat McAfee the bag. They fired almost all of their staff. They got rid of the good analysts. And one of the reasons why I think that this is happening is because I think that they're trying to cut costs. I think it's much cheaper for them to bring in people at a much more valuable rate, still having the name and the prowess, while getting rid of the people that have tenure that make a lot of money. I think it's cheaper to keep Malika Andrews and Kendrick Perkins and get rid of fucking Jalen Rose and Jeff Van Gundy. I think it's cheaper to be able to promote Doris Burke and then bring in a brand new, recently fired Doc Rivers than it is to keep a Jeff Van Gundy and a Mark Jackson. You are seeing the most epic fall of ESPN and Disney that you have ever seen in your entire life, and it is going to be a bloodbath. It is going over the next 3, 4, 5 years. I wouldn't be surprised, and you heard it here first, I wouldn't be surprised if Disney actually spun off ESPN as its own entity. It doesn't even fit into the portfolio in the category. They have this asset that they don't even know what to do with. They have an asset that they don't even know what to do with. It doesn't fit into the Disney Plus ecosystem. The ESPN app is starting to become long in tooth, and that it really needs an update because nobody really checks the ESPN app for news as much as they check for scores. Now that you have gambling on a large scale in most states, most people just check the scores along with the odds. They're overpaying. They then have these egregious contracts with all of these different teams, or these different leagues, such as the NBA, that they have to pay out, right? And Disney is bleeding to the tune of about $800 million just in this quarter alone, and they saddled with a bunch of debt. I believe that it's in the best interest for Disney to become a smaller company, spin off the debt by saddling all of these other different entities with it, and then try to make themselves more attractive as a target for takeover or for a buyout. That's what it comes down to. Do I care about whether or not Mark Jackson is fired? Not really. I think that he was a really good analyst, but I don't believe that has any relevance whatsoever. I think that Mark Jackson is just a victim of circumstance and bad management that's happening over at ESPN and then ultimately Disney. It comes back to the money, in my opinion. It always comes back down to the money. And I don't believe that a Shannon Sharpe is going to change what is happening over at ESPN. As a matter of fact, I don't think that Shannon Sharpe wants to come into a culture that's this toxic. There's no way that Shannon Sharpe, in my opinion, comes into a culture that's toxic. If Shannon Sharpe ever even joins ESPN, I'll be the first one to come back to the front of the congregation and say that I was wrong. But I doubt it. Apple is not buying Disney. Shannon Sharpe is not going over to ESPN. I think that it's smart. If they were smart, then they would spin off a lot of these different entities that is a part of that is a part of Disney that's not making money. And I think that you're going to continue to see people get laid off. And there's people that's getting laid off right now that you don't even hear about. You just hear about Mark Jackson because he's one of the most visible people that's a part of the company. So that's my take on that. I'm curious as to what you guys think. Let me know inside of the comments what you think. Do you think that this was a justified firing? Do you think it always comes back down to the business? Or do you think that ESPN is going to survive, they're going to be successful, and they're going to be able to pivot and become great, not just in the ratings, but their ability to be able to generate income? Let me know in the chat. I want to know about what it is that you guys think. Let's continue to move forward. I'm going to be reading super chat shortly. I have one more thing that I want to share with you guys, and then I'm going to come back to the super chats. All right? Let's get back to the money. Rent. Every time I turn around, y'all keep telling me that the rent is too goddamn high. Every time that I turn around, y'all keep telling me that the rent is due and it's too goddamn high. Here's a question that I have for you guys. Is rent control coming, and would you actually like to see it? Matter of fact, let me ask you another question. Do you think that rent control is actually a good thing? Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
The rent is too damn high.
The housing market is a catastrophe.
Record rental prices across the United States.
And something's got to give.
Living in America is freaking ridiculous right now.
I can't afford any of these apartments.
$1,800 for a one-bedroom apartment.
$1,400 for 485 square feet.
I guess I just live in my truck.
Over a third of Americans are renters, and if you're in that category, you probably don't need to be told that the rental market is out of control. The question is, can anything actually be done about it?
Let me ask y'all a question. A lot of y'all, when I tap into y'all in the morning, a lot of y'all live all around the country. Some of you guys are in Texas. I know a lot of y'all is over in Florida. It's a bunch of people over in New York. I know it's some Raleigh, North Carolinians in this bitch. I know it's some people over in Detroit, Ohio, Tennessee, Los Angeles, California in general. I know I got some Vegas people in here. Shout out to my people over there in Arizona. I know y'all live all over the country. Some of y'all live in some of the most liberal cities ever, such as Portland, Oregon, Seattle, so on and so forth. I see my Kentucky brethren is in the building, right? In your part of the country, is the rent too damn high? I'm going to be reading super chat shortly, don't worry. In your part of the country, the DMV, is the rent too damn high?
A historic wave of tenant organizing, unlike anything we've seen in decades, has found one answer: national rent control.
The tenant movement is absolutely within striking distance of rent regulation at the national level.
But it's not just tenants who are organized. This is also a story about how some of America's biggest landlords, banks, and private equity firms are hiding behind innocent-sounding front groups, all while pooling their money to keep your rent high.
I moved into Waldo Heights in 2018, so I've been here 5 years now. And every year...
Where the hell is Waldo Heights? Where's Waldo Heights? I'm just curious. Do y'all know where a Waldo Heights is?
Here, since I've been here, my rent has increased. Every time my rent is
super
raised,
chat shortly.
I'm at a crossroads of being evicted.
Millions of renters like Val are trapped in a rental market that's built to empower abusive landlords who can raise rents each year while allowing conditions to get worse and worse.
What defines an abusive landlord? What defines an abusive landlord? I'm curious. I find that there is a misunderstanding on both sides of both the landlord and the tenant. Dark skinned man, I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. I find that there's a disconnect between the landlords and the tenants, right? You guys have heard me multiple different times regularly to talk about the fact that I do not raise the rates on my tenants. Once a tenant goes into my property, as long as I'm able to control the costs, I do not raise the rents on my tenants. I could. I probably should if I'm just looking at it purely from a business perspective. But I think that you can find a middle road between being a good landlord and being a great businessman. Being a good landlord, I found personally that not trying to maximize profits, but instead building relationships has allowed for me to be a lot more successful than just trying to maximize profits. I found personally that not trying to maximize the amount of money that I get from rent, but instead trying to maintain a phenomenal relationship, long term always pays off much better. I don't have any turnover. I don't have any complaints. The tenants actually maintain a property really, really well. We communicate. We have a great relationship. I take care of things immediately. If there is anything, which they rarely even call me, they probably call me maybe twice a year, tops. And that's for only the big things. A dishwasher went out, furnace problems, something like that. But they never, ever call me for anything that they can maintain themselves. As a matter of fact, I got a video on my other channel, probably from a couple years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, where I took y'all to view one of my properties and I showed y'all, and my tenant was actually, one of my tenants was actually on there, and he was showing the people how he had redid the entire garage. He literally put thousands of dollars into redoing the garage. I didn't know about it. I didn't complain about it. It was a phenomenal redo. This dude had redid it as though he was going to be there for the next 20 years. And I think that he will be there for the next 20 years. I think that him and his family is going to be there for the next 20 years. We have a phenomenal relationship. And so I think it's a really good balance that you can strike. And I talk about this inside of the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But I'm always curious as to what you guys think is a bad landlord or greedy landlord. What do y'all think that means?
The mice, the roach infestations.
Uh-oh.
Sometimes they don't pick up our garbage.
Now that, okay. I didn't know the context. Thank you for the context. I do think that having mice and a roach infestation is fucking egregious. Now, that is a problem. When you're not picking up the trash, when you have a mouse infestation, when you have a roach problem, yeah, I can't fuck with it. I can't do it. Nope. I don't want no properties in the hood. I don't want no Section 8 housing. I don't want none of that shit. Yeah, I agree. All right. I get it now. I apologize. I get it now.
When I first moved here, I was told that the security gate was going to be fixed. The gate is still not fixed. And so people come in and they sleep in our hallways. I'm afraid sometimes to come in my building at night.
I don't like that.
My landlord is Landmark Realty, corporation based in California.
Look at the brochure.
They don't care. They just don't care.
Since the last financial crisis, rental units are increasingly owned and operated by corporations like Landmark that are accountable, first and foremost, to their private investors. For tenants like Val, legal protections against abusive landlords are often limited. But she discovered one powerful way to fight back.
So me and my neighbor, my best friend down the hall from me, we just said one day, she was like, let's call KC Tenants. And I said, okay. So I called and I left a message on the hotline.
This is my first time seeing this. I've never seen this video before. Somebody recommended it to me in my email.
And a couple of days later, I got a phone call back.
A group called KC Tenants were fighting to stop eviction hearings at the Jackson County Courthouse.
Evictions will kill people like me.
Charged crowd packed City Hall for more than 3 hours. The yellow shirts in the room are tenants, each with their own personal story.
In a national housing crisis where rent inflation has vastly outpaced income growth, groups like KC Tenants have given their members power to take on their landlords.
We have written and passed a tenant's bill of rights. We've won free lawyers for every tenant facing eviction. We've organized buildings and neighborhoods. And just recently, we elected 4 members of city council.
Okay, listen, I got a problem here. Okay? I don't agree with slumlords. I don't agree with slumlords at all. I think that they should be taken to court. I think that they should be held accountable. I think that there needs to be laws that hold slumlords accountable, because if you cannot maintain a property, according to the standards that the city sets, I will tell you this: every property that I own are in cities that actually come through and they do an inspection of the house every single year. Every property that I own, I'm in a single families. I only do single families. Who knows? I might do. I want to get an apartment. I'm thinking about getting into 2 apartments eventually. I love single families. I'm only doing it because location is the number one rule when it comes to real estate. They have to come out and they have to do an inspection of the property inside and out. As wild as that may seem, they have to do an inspection of the property inside and out. That is a part of the agreement when you designate it as a rental property within these particular cities. Got a fucking mosquito. I don't like that. Now, the one thing that I don't agree with is you can't stop me from evicting you if you're not paying your fucking tenants. I mean, if you're not paying your rent. This is where I think it goes too far, because it's always imbalanced on both sides. You can't just be a good property owner and make sure that you take care of the property. You got to be a fucking slumlord. On the other end, they advocating for you to stay inside of a property that you're not paying for. Usually, if you don't like a property, then you would move out into a different area or a different property that better suits your needs. I don't understand this. Why is it always so extreme on both ends?
And that movement seems to be growing.
Places like Louisville, Kentucky, Bozeman, Montana, Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
The current surge in tenant organizing is the most significant since the 1970s, and it's allowing renters to fight for the kind of big relief that only the federal government can enact.
There are millions of tenants across the country being squeezed by landlords like Landmark, and our federal government is letting it happen. That's right. We can fight back by winning rent control for everyone at Waldo Heights and for tenants across.
This is stupid, because it goes against
When
capitalism.
Landmark Realty secured a mortgage for Val's building in 2014, their loan was actually backed by the federal government. Corporate landlords like Landmark often benefit from lucrative loans through Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, government-sponsored enterprises that purchase mortgages from banks and set terms for them. With 1 in 4 apartment units across the country financed in this way, the government is essentially in business with our landlords.
Yep.
But that may be just the leverage that renters need.
We want to see every dollar of federal financing conditioned on a set of tenant protections. If you're borrowing on really favorable terms, that money is backed by public dollars, you should be on the hook. You shouldn't be able to increase your rent 20% and evict a whole lot of tenants to maximize your profits for your investors.
If you don't like what it is that's happening, then either you need to go and get you a mortgage so that you can be controlled by the mortgage company, or you need to go and find a different place that you want to live in. I don't really understand what the problem is. Now, I do know that there's some gray areas. There's some long-term people. If this person can't be here, older people, so on and so forth. But if you don't like something, I think that that's what the free market is supposed to be about, right? It's the idea that I can go and live somewhere else because I don't like what the fuck you got going on, and nobody else is going to come here, which then force them to meet the expectations of the market. Otherwise, they're going to go out of business, right? If you don't like what the fuck is going on there, then you can leave. The market dictates the rates. And in order for him to be able to compete, he's going to have to bring it up to snuff at the very least in order to compete with other places. That's then siphoning off all of the different people that actually want to live there. There's places that have vacancies out the roof, and then there's places that have a waiting list for when somebody else moves out. That's the free market. That's capitalism, no? Let's continue.
What we want to see is them say, if you're borrowing from a government-backed enterprise, you can't increase the rent more than 3% year over year.
Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are regulated by the Federal Housing Finance Agency, or FHFA. Thanks to the work of tenant organizers, the FHFA is seriously considering policy along these lines. But there's just one problem. Tenants aren't the only ones who are organized.
Motherhood Marvel said you can't leave work if you broke, but you can go and get another job. You can go and get another job.
We're here at the National Multifamily Housing Council because the rent is too motherfucking high. They've spent.
Nobody forced you to live there. I don't really understand. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of people that live in New York or people that live in California. Now, when I go and visit California, it's funny because I'll go and stay in like $1 million house or something like that, right? And it'll be off of a beach and something or whatever, right? And everybody is living close together, and it'd be like different people are basically renting a room. How it is in California is that most people have roommates, or most people have a bunch of people living together, and they all rent out a room. They don't just like have their own place. Most people in California don't live alone. They live with somebody else because otherwise they wouldn't be able to afford where they are. And then I talked to a guy, and he was he was in Venice Beach, and I'm overlooking the water. And I'm talking to a guy, and he was like, I said, bro, why do you live here? Because I asked him what he did, and I said, why you live here or whatever. And he said, man, look at the water. Look at the location. Look at what's going on. I can't, and I would never live anywhere else except for right here in California overlooking the water. I could just walk here. I can ride my bike or whatever, so on and so forth. I said, but it's too expensive. I know. I fucking hate that or whatever. I said, so why don't you move to a place that's actually more conducive for your budget? I don't feel like I should have to. I should be able to stay wherever it is that I want. Okay, well, what do you want? Either you can complain about the circumstances or you're going to leave and go and do something about it. The rent is too damn high. You have a whole country to pick from. You have a whole country to be able to pick from of where it is that you want to live. If the rent is high there, then maybe you should go and live over there because you do not deserve or is owed anything. What are we talking about here?
So much of their time lobbying to make sure that rent protections don't exist for people like us.
Let me guess. The people like us is black people, right?
Landlord industry groups like the National Multifamily Housing Council spend millions lobbying Congress and federal agencies to oppose rent control. Since the start of last year, the NMHC has spent almost $10 million lobbying against it. The NMHC's members include major banks, private equity firms, and some of America's most notorious corporate landlords, like Greystar, Avalon Bay, and Blackstone. Blackstone is the world's largest private equity firm, and by some accounts, the largest landlord in the US.
Ooh, remember when I did that breakdown on Blackstone, y'all? Y'all remember that a few weeks ago?
In recent years, private equity firms like Blackstone have increasingly been buying up housing assets, often with lucrative loans backed by Fannie and Freddie. Tenants have complained of rent hikes, evictions, and faceless corporate landlords unresponsive to repairs. The UN even accused Blackstone of worsening the global housing crisis by buying up properties and hiking rents across the world. Meanwhile, Blackstone CEO Stephen Schwarzman earned $1.3 billion last year.
Let me back up for a minute. Hold on. Wait. Can we confirm that? Can we confirm that? Blackstone CEO made 1.3, not million, billion. Is that true? I know y'all keep on saying that you should never work for anybody, work for yourself. The Blackstone CEO made 1.3 billion with a B, not an M. Is that accurate? Give me a second. I got to look this up. Stephen Schwarzman's get another $1 billion haul, another one. It was another lucrative year for Blackstone CEO who took home more than $1.2 billion in compensation and dividends. Mr. Schwartzman's base salary was the same as it's been for years. The base salary is $350,000. The bonuses and the total compensation wind up being $1.2 billion. Fuck a rapper. Fuck a basketball. I don't know what the fuck we doing. Look, yo, we having the wrong conversations out here. I just got completely thrown off of the whole fucking article. We having the wrong conversations out here in the community. This is another, this ain't the first one. This is another $1 billion haul. I did not know this. Listen, I knew that total compensation in the packages was egregious, but I didn't know it was fucking that. We are leading our, y'all about to make me pivot. We leading our children into the wrong industries. Fuck liberal arts. This is why I keep telling y'all that the average is skewed. When y'all look at the average earnings of white men, it's not that the majority of white men are making it. It's one white man that made $1.3 billion that just fucked up, skewed the average and making you think that white people made more. He made $1 billion in a fucking year. And you know what the funniest part about this whole thing is? He not even going to pay taxes on the overwhelming majority of it. He going to pay taxes on the $350,000. That's his base salary. And he probably keeps the rest of it. The other $1 billion, the 1.2, he probably keep the other 1.2 in equity so that he never has to actually pull from it, so he never pays taxes on it, takes a loan out on it on a very low interest rate in order to prevent himself having to give $750 million, $650 million over into the federal government. Shit. That dude probably paid $1 million in taxes and made $1.3 billion. I ain't never heard of no shit like that. I don't think that I've ever heard of anything like that in my entire life. I did not know this. That made me feel small as fuck. That made me feel so small. We over here talking about spending $100,000 a month and all of this other type of shit. We focused on the wrong things, bro. We are focused on the wrong thing. We over here fighting each other. We keep trying to talk shit about each other, having smoke for each other on Instagram and shit. And this nigga's just stealing all of the fucking money right up under our noses. Instead of us working together to try to figure out how it is that we can get some money. And I ain't even talking about on no black shit. I'm talking about just in general as a people. Just people. We up here fucking distracted as hell. Y'all over there keep talking about reparations. This motherfucker just got $1.3 billion. Fucking reparation. $1.3 billion. Good Jesus almighty God. I can't even, my brain it just don't register. That is $1,300 million. That is $1,300 million. I honestly, like, if you start to really put that shit into perspective, that is $1,300 million. That's a lot of money. Like that shit don't blow your mind. Like $1,300 million in 1 year. That shit don't change your focus. It's like you don't walk outside and be like, what the fuck? Like you don't just be looking at your closet or looking at your grass. You see a fucking crackhead walk by and then he throw a bottle on your grass, and you don't just be thinking like, damn, $1,300 million. What the fuck are we? What am I doing here? Let me read the super chats. Let me just read the super chats. We be so distracted at the dumbest shit, man. We so focused on the dumbest shit. Let me just read this. Give me a second, bro. Let me read the super chats. All right. Mark Smith is in the building, says the problem is the values, not the school. No amount of resources will matter if your community doesn't value the resource itself. Appreciate you, Mark Smith. Roger Marine says, in Trinidad, we could barely afford school supplies. Yet when I came here in 1972, we were 5 years ahead of the kids. I have 2 degrees in STEM. Shout out to you, Roger Marine. I appreciate you. Miss Crow T. Shetty is in the building, says, keep it up. I appreciate you, Miss Crow T. Shetty. Planet Brooklyn Supreme says, this is the first time I ever seen Anton get humbled like this. You know what? Honestly, I just feel like I'm broke now. I honestly feel like I'm broke after hearing that. That fucked my whole psyche up. It messed my whole psyche up. It just put me in a whole nother space. I'm just like, Walter Hunter is in the building, says they get rid of the strong black men for tame able men. Also, they'll keep Malika to promote their woke narrative while also putting women in power. I agree with you. Thank you, Walter Hunter. Lamb Sauce is in the building, says I have my parents' rent jump from $800 in a 2-bedroom to $1,300. Damn. Wealth Building Journey says, in many cases, rent controls appears to be the most efficient technique presently known to destroy a city, except for a bombing. Wow, that's you're gonna have to break that down one day. Aaron says the rent is too damn high. Political party is picking up steam. They need to put up a presidential candidate. All it's gonna do is be Bernie Sanders again. Shout out to the Lucid Experience, says I'm now a part of the rent is too damn high party. Shout out to the rent is too damn high party. Aaron says Boston rent is crazy. Appreciate you, Aaron. Delt Rec says, stop renting, buy a house, black people, it's cheaper. Rashad Howard is in the building, says, rent control will just make it harder for new investors like myself while making it easier for larger investment groups to take over. Shout out to Rashad Howard. Mr. Maximus says, oh, she need that rent. Sound like you in a bind, Nate. Hey, check this out. Hold on. I want to pivot for a second. Before I read the rest of the super chats, let me read this really quickly. Dante Star says, you won't ever make $1 billion, Anton, and that's a fact. I'm going to reserve that. I'm going to come back to that. Give me a second. I'm going to come back to that. Let me read the rest of the super chats because I want to address that one directly. Aaron says Master Splinter has a 2-bedroom down the hall. Shout out to Aaron. Krishawn Humphrey says, sounds familiar. Oh, Jimmy McMillan said this. Jason Stakums is in the building. I appreciate you. Says, not gonna front, living in a rent stabilized apartment in NYC is cool, but with a national rent control policy, my reinvestments is going to be outside the U.S. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you for the super chat. Aaron says, if you're making average money and your landlord doubles the rent, it's hard to move. Basically, need to have 3 to 4 times the rent to move to a new place. D Knight says, as a landlord, inflation in property taxes, insurance, and repairs keep rising. Rent control will bankrupt independent landlords if costs keep rising. But see, they don't want to have that other part of the conversation, right? Raising the rents is not just about being more profitable. Raising the rents is also taking into consideration your costs. Aaron says, I think rent control in general isn't a good thing. However, if you're using government programs to get your property, that's fair if it's a condition for the deal you sign. I don't have a problem with that. Jarice says, yo, 1.3 billion. Are they hiring? That's a fact. I will go over there in a minute. Rashad Howard says, Anton about to apply to Blackstone, getting my resume together. Hey, somebody get Chat GBT up and running so I can get my resume together. Mark Smith says he's also a co-founder, not just a job. Shout out to Mark Smith. My dog, Justin K, is in the building, says, and this is why I'm in corporate real estate investing. The bag is just different on this side. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. Mikkel Myers, the good vibe, says, I realized since a child, we moved from a house when I was 8 and it's been vacant since. The real estate management companies owned the whole neighborhood. Couldn't buy a property if we wanted to. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you for the insight. Also, we go on to Jupiter says, I just joined your Patreon. What do you think about ChargePoint, the EV charging provider? They got a partnership with Mercedes-Benz, and Biden picked their CEO to be on the National Infrastructure Advisory Council. I would hold off on that before I invested in ChargePoint, because Mercedes, General Motors, Honda, it's like 7 or 8 different auto manufacturers just combined in order to create one big company in order to build like 30 to 35,000 charging infrastructure stations, or in order to build infrastructure, which includes 30 to 35,000 stations in its first phase. So let me do a little bit of research on the infrastructure and the movement when it comes to these charging stations, because I literally just read that yesterday. Right? So let me hold off on that. Let me do some research. I'm not saying you should or you shouldn't. Let me do some research and then we can deep dive into that. Thank you for contributing into the platform. Classy Beat says, I appreciate all that you do, Anton. Yeah, I appreciate you, Classy Beats. Make sure you subscribe to his channel. I want to read a few more super chats and then I'm going to come back to something that somebody said. Carl McMichael says, Anton, keep doing the Lord's work. Did you know it's YouTubers that dedicate their whole channel to talking about you, doing 3-hour live streams? I didn't, because I don't see them. All I see is the success that we running up the bag. Brock says, pass a love offering. I appreciate you. Lawrence Pearson says, studio tent, no bathroom, 3,500. Let me come back to one thing that somebody said really quickly. He said, Anton, you won't ever make $1 billion, and that's a fact. I'll take that challenge. I don't even look at you as a hater. I don't. Most people would. I don't. I don't even look at you as a hater. I genuinely don't. I don't look at you as a hater at all. I look at you as a person that is giving me what I need in order to motivate me to get to where it is that I'm going. I don't even look at it like that. I don't look at that as a problem. It's not a problem at all. I look at it as motivation. I bet you I will. I bet you I will. I bet you I will get $1 billion. Who gonna stop me? Who gonna stop me from making $1 billion? Who can stop me? I bet you I do. I don't care if you believe it or not. Watch me do it. I like that. I like that. That's what I needed. I wanted you to say that. Now, and it's funny because I was just thinking this morning, like, I've accomplished this, I've accomplished that, I'm feeling comfortable, and so on and so forth. I needed that. I'm glad that you said that. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I needed that. Let me go ahead and say this. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock out with me. Levi Apparel says, Anton, Kent is short for create a way now today. Now today. I appreciate y'all. If there's other people that was able to do it, I don't see why I shouldn't be able to. Why wouldn't I? If they was able to do it, what's stopping me from being able to do it? They said I wouldn't do an M. We'll see. I'm on it. I don't look at it as hating. I look at it as an opportunity. So anyways, I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. We'll see. We'll see. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here. Make sure you tell this to your family and friends. Share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. I'm out.